Good morning and welcome back to my channel, Knitting Nana Goes Rogue. My name is Sandy, although most everybody just calls me Nana. And I just want to thank you so much for following me, supporting me. If you've wandered into my little interweb craziness, welcome back. If you've been here before, and this was an exciting episode for me because I have reached over 200 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which never thought I'd have any more than my family members. So to have over 200 people out there all around the world watching is just, it's heartwarming for me, and I really, really appreciate it. So there is going to be a giveaway. And I know it's still very shameful of me, but it won't be announced until the very end. Of course, you people who know how to use your YouTube and remotes, you can just fast forward to the end if you want to. But anyway, it's been a while. I mean, I've done some shorts and some, I did a couple of, oh gracious, I've only had one cup of coffee this morning. I've done a couple of trips to local yarn stores, which really haven't been all that local to me, but I love that series that I'm doing on the road again, because it gets me to go other places to look at different yarn shops, and I'm loving that part of it. So and actually that's the first thing I'm going to talk about. Upcoming August, let me see, 7th through the 19th, if you happen to be in the New England area, or if you're adventurous enough to want to travel to the New England area for those 12 days, 12 days. It's called the I-91 Shop Hop. It's kind of like if you're into pub crawls, which I didn't know anything about till a few years ago, when you go from bar to bar to bar, sampling different beers or whatever it may be. It's kind of the same thing, except for yarn. I mean, how great is that? So, like I said, it's from August 7th through the 19th. There are 8 yarn stores, from Vermont through Massachusetts down to Connecticut. And if you're like, I-91 is like the highway that runs all along the East Coast. So if you happen to be driving, and you can just hop off and go to one of those stores. You buy a passport if you want to, if you choose to. I believe it's $10. And when you go to each one of those stores, they stamp it. If you happen to go to all 8 stores, then you're entered into this big, huge, giveaway. But, the distance from Vermont all the way down to southern Connecticut, it's a bit of a distance. So unless you have family or you're traveling or whatever, it could be a little daunting to get to all 8. So here's the thing. Feel free to comment. Oh, and of course, like and subscribe, which really helps my channel out. What do you think? Should I try it? I live locally to 3 of them, very locally. So that's a no-brainer. And I've been to, all of those, and I've done tours on 2 of them. And so the one in Vermont is a bit of a hike, but, and then going south down into southern Connecticut. So what do you think? Do you want to see more yarn shop tours? Feel free to comment and let me know if you think I should do it. If I get enough support, maybe I'll just bite the bullet and do it. Okay, anyway, so much for that. Alrighty, so I had done, the last week, Northampton Wools in Northampton, Mass., which is, like I said, pretty local to me. And what's funny is it's very local, it's like down the street from Webb's, which I did the tour of, which over 1,000 of you followed me into that store and had a great time with it. There's something to be said about small local yarn stores. As much as I love Webb's, absolutely love it to death, and I'm there all the time. Northampton Wools is just, a precious little store. The owner, Linda Daniels, just a lovely woman, and we had a great time. And the only reason I hadn't been there before was because she's closed on Mondays, and that tends to be my day that I go up in that neck of the woods. So it was just serendipitous that I stumbled upon her and did a tour of her store. Check her out, please. She does live Facebooks on Mondays, and she's also on Instagram. I'll do my best to link that stuff in the description. And then the other one that I did last month was Knit & Pearls in Avon, Connecticut. She is not on the list of the 91 Shop Hop, but if you happen to be doing that, she's not that far, so you could hop over there as well. Also a lovely woman, Suzanne. You know, the thing is, people who own yarn shops are just wonderful people. They're giving, they, you know, I think that anyone that has a creative spirit within them, and I believe everyone has a creative spirit of some type, doesn't have to be knitting, sewing, art, it can be reading, it can be, there's, you know, the creativity, there's a creativity, I believe, born in every single one of us. And so when you find whatever it is that really sparks your interest, you just light up from inside. And that's what knitting does for me, and yarn. So, yeah, so just check out wherever you are, whatever is local to you. And if it isn't local to you, that's one of the reasons that I do this series, is so you can see what it's like in other parts of the country or world, as the case may be. Okay, let's get down to some knitting. Okay, what am I wearing? Well, I'm sure you realize that is the ranunculus. Excuse me. Get back this up just a little bit. Stand up just a little bit so you can see the whole. Okay, the ranunculus, which, if you haven't knit it, do it. I think I talked about it maybe in one of my other episodes. Then again, maybe I didn't. But this one I made out of Lion Brand cotton jeans. So it's 100% cotton. It's in a dusty denim color, which is why it's called jeans. And it's a DK weight. I really love this yarn. I love the, you know, it's like a chambray color. It's really beautiful. And I believe I've made 11 or 12, at least, ranunculi in different formats and ways. I just love the pattern. It was a daunting thing to start with. I couldn't figure it out, but eventually I did. And once I did, I couldn't stop, because like you can make it in any weight yarn. It's just a great pattern, and it's a lovely looking, it fits wonderful. And I love the jeans because it's just very, it's soft. It's a soft cotton. It's not one of those, you know, stiff cottons. Anyway, so that's that. That is what I'm wearing. Then, see, I'm kind of like doing like what other people do on their podcasts, which you don't usually. Okay, hold on a second. I know I'm looking in the wrong place on my camera today, so forgive me if I look like I'm looking off over that way, but I'm having difficulty getting myself centered here. Anyway, this is, and I'm sure you recognize the yarn if you have been following me about my Ice Cream Social cardigan pattern that I released last month. And I have a tutorial, episode 5, because I love this yarn. And anyway, so I decided to jump in and take a sweater design course. I've, you know, follow YouTube all the time to learn how to do things, but the reason what drew me, to this particular course is included in it is a template for grading across 9 sizes. So when I did my Ice Cream Social cardigan, you know, I literally, with my own little calculator, went through every single thing. It was very, it was, yeah, it took a lot of time, a lot of thought, you know, and I did it, but I'm always in search of an easier, softer way. And for me, a template where you just plug in the numbers and it does it all for you. It's like, yay, how good can this, how hard can this is awesome. So I subscribed. And it's Claire from Sister Mountain. Claire Mountain is her name actually, but Sister Mountain. But if you go there, she has a sweater design school to design a top-down pullover. And so I was like, okay, that'll be, you know, I mean, I have designed another pullover, but not for a pattern for publishing, just that I made for someone. But I was like, all right, well, if I'm gonna pursue this design thing, let's do this. And particularly because of that template, I'm like, yeah, okay. Oh my gosh, Claire, I love you. She's wonderful. And when you do it, you get a live Facebook meeting each week, so you can ask questions and all this sort of stuff. And I had no idea how complicated it was going to be. I know that the sweater construction's that's not a problem. That's not an issue. The issue was trying to figure out how to work the template. It's done on Google Sheets, and I was not fluent, or I was not even familiar with it. And you know, I spent many hours trying to figure it out, doing it, undoing it, redoing it, whatever. Had to have my grandson, thank you, Stephen, God bless you, who is an expert in Google Sheets, come and he helped me out. Without him, forget it. Oh, and I want to read this to you about grandchildren. I know it's out of order. I was going to do it at the end, but you know what, since I talked about my grandson, I saw this little saying that says, my grandchildren are a window to my past, a mirror of today, a door to tomorrow, and the keeper of my heart for all eternity. And boy, does that say it all. My grandkids and my great-grandkids, of which there are 5, they're my life. They're my heart. They have my heart. And they are the window to my soul and the window to eternity. Oh, how's that for philosophy? There we go. Can't even say it. Like I said, I've only had 1 cup of coffee. Okay, back to, I'm sorry, this is kind of going off in all sorts of directions, but then again, you know me. Okay, so I finally figured out the template, because you have to do the whole template before you can actually start knitting a sample, knitting the sweater that you're designing. So anyway, I'm calling this the pistachio pullover, only because when I did my ice cream social cardigan, one of the colors I used was the green in the initial one, and I called it pistachio. They only come in numbers, they don't come in colors, but it looked like pistachio ice cream to me. And so I decided that, you can't really see the colors really all that well, but it is the green, the light green. So I'm calling it the pistachio pullover. And I'm just, you know, starting. I haven't gotten to any of the detail-y kind of stuff or pattern stuff yet. It's just so far simple. Excuse me. But that's what's on my needle. And so keep an eye out. Eventually, if I like the way the pattern comes out and the sweater comes out, I will publish a pattern. It will be free on Ravelry, in my Ravelry store. And yeah, we'll see. Okay. All right. So back to grandkids. You know, it is almost August. I've got the 14 grandkids, 5 great-grandkids, and Christmas is coming. And every Christmas I always knit for all of them. So it's usually, you know, hats, socks, sometimes sweaters for the smaller ones, and even for the bigger ones, because they want sweaters. So it depends. So this year, because it's got so much else going on, and I'm, you know, working on designing and all this sort of stuff, this Christmas might be smaller items, you know, hats and stuff like that. But I want to talk to you about the stuff that I've made in the past for my little ones. Hold on a second, I lost it. Where'd it go? Hold on one second, don't go anywhere, people. I found it. Okay. Last year, for the little ones, and I will put a picture somewhere in here, hopefully, of some of the hats that I made. These are, okay, they're called Top This. And they are little hat kits. Okay. There's the yarn. It's like one skein of yarn, which has a stripe pattern or a pattern on it. So when you knit it up, it knits up a pattern. And then here's the pom-pom on top is a little whatever it may be. This one is a bumblebee. So I made this last year for one of my great-grandkids, a little bumblebee hat. And now you can, I would say it only goes, it's a child size with this one ball. And when I made it for like my 10-year-old granddaughter, I had to actually add a little bit more yarn on top for the top part because I ran out. So it's great for like a 1 to probably 8-year-old, but if they've got a little bit bigger head, you might need a little bit more yarn. Keep that in mind. Okay, so here's the bumblebee. Love this one. This is the mouse. How adorable is that? And this one obviously, well, not obviously, is pinks and grays. So it comes up pinks and gray stripes. Okay, and there's a whole bunch more, and they're called Top This. Oh, actually, let me see if you can see. There we go. There's a picture of kind of what there's an elephant. There's, I can't even see what that one is. I don't know what that is. Purple something or another. And there's soccer balls. There's all sorts of other little toppers. They're adorable. I initially got some of these at Webb's for a few of them, and then Amazon also, because selection, there wasn't a lot of them. So I went on Amazon and they have a ton of them. And they knit up so quick, it's ridiculous. They're soft and fuzzy. Oh, they're just, I mean, really, how adorable is this for kids? Okay, then Lion Brand makes one, a Sesame Street collection called One Hat Wonder. And oops. Okay, so here you go. Here's Cookie Monster. All right, so a little bit different as far as the hat goes, as far as the colors. This one's more of, it's not really, it's a little bit different, that's all. It's not quite as fancy as the others, but it's adorable. And they've got all the characters, all right? And you can pick this up sometimes at your local yarn store. If not, again, Amazon does carry them. So now the other thing is, what I found was, and I've always had a problem with hats with pom-poms, how the pom-poms, I know you can sew a button underneath it and it kind of will hold it. But if you recall, in one of my last episodes, I talked about these cord locks to be used on your needles as either needle stoppers or to keep your, if you're doing a shawl, if you got 500 stitches, to keep your stitches all on one end of the needle. They're wonderful, and they come in Amazon again, cord locks, 40 of them for like $8, and all sorts of different sizes. Well, someone on Instagram told me that they use these to secure the pom-pom to the top of the hat. And I'm like, that's brilliant. That is brilliant, because number one, you can just take off the pom-pom if you want to wash the hat. So I'm going to try it when I make another one of these for Christmas. And I'm going to try using the cord lock as a pom-pom holder. There you go. Okay. Alrighty. Moving right along. I wanted to talk about needles because, just because I can. I discovered, now I've had knitting needles that I've had for 30, 40 years. And I used to use only straight needles. I didn't use circular needles till the pandemic. And then when I found out how much easier it is to knit straight on circular needles, because you've got the room on it and you don't have something poking you under the arm or whatever. So I was like, okay, let me try it. I love circular needles. And during the pandemic, someone recommended Chiagoo, so I went to my local yarn store at the time that was still open, which is, she's actually on the yarn, the shop hop, Margie's in Granby, Connecticut. I have not, I feel really bad. You know, she's like literally the one that I go to all the time because she's really close, and through the pandemic she was open and would do porch pickup, or she'd shut the whole store down and you could go in one-on-one. So I still haven't done a tour of her store, and I apologize, Margie, but that is in my wheelhouse. Anyway, she had Chiagoo needles, so what I would do is I started going and I would get like one size, whatever, for whatever project I was doing. And so I want to show you how I store my needles. Okay, now you know I've told you how frugal I am. Now I am frugal around the things that I can be. Let me see if I can explain that. Okay, I'm not frugal when it comes to buying my needles or my yarn. You know, well, yarn, yes, but my needles, I've got quite an investment in them, okay? But I don't need to store them in something that's hundreds of dollars. So like the dollar store or whatever, the $5 store, whatever it is, you know, it's like a, I don't know, big, huge makeup case, okay? So I got that, it was like $5. And then I got these little pouches, which are, you know, to go in notebooks, okay? And they've got like a little thingy on them, all right? So, and you get, I don't know, 20 of them, 40 of them, very inexpensively, again, through Amazon. And so what I've done is in here, oops, I have all of these, and then I put, oops, those are just my Chiagoo cords. Okay, so I've got my size 1, 3, 4, all the way up, you know what I mean? And so, and this is where I store my circular needles. They fit beautifully in each one of these. They're labeled. It works really good. Well, about halfway through the pandemic, when I realized I was spending a small fortune getting individual needles in different, because you know, you need them in different cord lengths. So it got really pricey. And then, I don't know, somehow, somewhere, I discovered that Chiagoo makes an interchangeable set. Actually, they make many interchangeable sets. And I was like, yes, it was pricey, but boy, if I had done that in the beginning, I would have saved a lot more money, because it comes with different length cords, you know, and it's got all your different size needles. And so I started with this one, which was the, I forget, it goes from size US 2 to US 15. So pretty much covers everything, because I had gotten all the size 1s that I needed for my socks that I was making, because I only use those in the 9-inch circulars. So this was great, okay? And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay? Because it gives me all the options for everything that I need. And then last year, now when I knit sweaters, when I knit sleeves and sweaters, I will not use double-pointed needles. They are, as far as I'm concerned, double-pointed needles, and I'm sure I've said it before, are evil. I just have never been able to figure them out and work with them. I just don't like them, okay? And magic, so I was using the longer cords and doing magic loops for my sleeves. And then I discovered Chiagoo makes, these are the Chiagoo Twist shorty sets. The blue ones have 2-inch needles and 3-inch needles, and sizes 4 through 8. So, and smaller circumference cords. So I could use those like for a size 8. If I'm doing a size 8 for the sleeves, I can do them on a 9-inch or 10-inch circular and do the sleeves. Love it, love it. Then this past year they came out with the yellow set, which is sizes 9 to 11. These are wonderful because I do a lot, like with my ice cream social, you know, that's, I was using a 10.5 needle. So here we go, you know, picked up the sleeves on this, could knit them, and it's great. So anyway, so like I said, I'm frugal with the things I can be frugal with, but these were pricey. I did get them on sale. I am a sale person, so I got them on sale. But let me tell you that they're a game changer. For me, they're a game changer. There we go. Okay, let's see. All right, what else have we going to talk about? My gosh, I think that's it, except for the giveaway. Thank you all for following me on Instagram, following me on this channel, for your sweet comments. It's just nice to know that I'm part of a community of people who, knitters have a special heart. Not just knitters, crafters, makers of any form. You know, just have anyone with that creative spirit. And again, like I said, everyone has a creative spirit, has a special heart. Because when we create something, we don't create it just for ourselves. We create it for someone else to give to the world, you know, and that's what it's all about for me. Okay, so I used the random number generator, and Jane Visser, one of my sweet friends who comments so nicely on my stuff, you are the recipient of the giveaway, which you're not going to know what it is because I'm not going to tell you till you get it in the mail. So please, Jane, if you can send me a message with your information, I will reach out to you as well on Instagram because I've got your handle there. Please, so I can gift you some stuff. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you what stuff it is. All right, I think that's pretty much it, you know. Oh, just one last thing. As you can see, I finally got my hair cut. It was getting really, 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 really long, and I kind of liked it long. I didn't like it long. But, you know, the heat here has been ridiculous. You know, it feels like it's close to 100 some days, and that hair, you know. So I did get a haircut, and today's not a bad hair day, actually. Not too bad. Princess, I'll put a picture of her up here too, has not gotten her haircut. She goes this week because right now she looks like a drowned rat. Okay, well guys, until next time, I will put information about the I-91 shop hop if you're interested in participating in that. And like I said, you don't have to go to all of them, but any of them, or, you know, just whatever. It's just a fun thing to do. It's just a fun thing to do. And so with that, I'm going to end, and I will see you next time.